First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Brandy Reed, and I am the program coordinator for the America Small Business Development Center at West Texas A&M University. So that means I help with events like this, and usually I would be your host, but today I'm also your presenter. And so we want to welcome you here today. If you guys don't mind putting in the chat kind of your experience level with Canva, and if you've never heard of Canva before, that's fine. We'll kind of introduce it to you and some of the tools. So it'll be a good presentation today, and we hope you walk away with something that you can use in your business today and start communicating your message better to your audience. So with that, I would like to start by letting you guys know we are recording this. So the recording will be available. It has to render after the presentation, but it will be available for you to rewatch it. And then we also just let you know so that you're able to, opt out if you don't want to be included in the recording because your name might pop up on the screen. So also, I want to tell you a little bit about the Small Business Development Center and what we do, just in case you've never heard of us before. So we provide counseling that is confidential and free of charge to people who want to start businesses or in the middle of their entrepreneurial journey and want to build their business, or even at the end of their business life, they're wanting to retire or sell their business to the next person or pass it on to the next generation. We help with those processes all the way through, and we love to do that. So we all come from different backgrounds, and every business is different. So there's not a prescription, a 12-step program or something where you can check all the boxes and say, okay, this is how you start this business with these players involved. So anyway, so it's a very dynamic environment, and we really enjoy what we do. We also provide training events like this. This happens to be a free webinar. Some of our events are paid, and some of them are free, like this one. So it just depends on the speaker and the event. We might provide lunch or something like that, and so then we charge for those events. All right, let's jump in to what you wanted to learn about today. So with that, I'll be remiss too if I don't let you know, because some of you may live in a different area. There are SBDCs all across the nation and some of the territories. And so if you don't live in the Amarillo area, you may be better served by one of the centers closer to you. In our network, we have 6 centers. So there's also one in Lubbock, Wichita Falls, Abilene, Stephenville, and Midland. So I think that's everybody. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're just going to jump right into working with Canva. And go back to the home page. All right. So when you first log into Canva, it is an online app that you can use to create graphics, flyers, social media posts, and things like that for your business. When you log into it the first time, there's a free version and a paid version, and it's going to ask you the type of industry that you're in or what you're going to be using Canva for. And then that way it tailors the designs and things to you so that it makes it a little more user-friendly. So your dashboard may not look exactly like this. I just want to let you know that. But in general, the tools and the things that you're going to need are in left or top down order. So most of your menu items are going to be on the left, and then you'll kind of see I've changed the layout here where we just have little thumbnails of all the designs that we've done before, but you can change it where they're in panes and you can see the bigger pictures if you want. So it's a little bit flexible in that regard. But I just want to let you know that you might not see exactly what you're seeing today. We use the paid version, and we've let them know that, we're a public facing entity. And so our designs are based on advertising our events and things like that. So one thing to always remember is that in this upper left-hand corner, now we're seeing the home screen, so the word Canva will be in that corner. If you're in a design or something, you might see 3 bars in that corner, and you can click on that to go back to the home screen and choose a different design or start over, whatever you want to do. So we're going to talk about a little bit of the basics of just design, and then also the tools that Canva has that you can use. One of the things that I'm going to prioritize for you guys is the fact that time is money. And so I know that you don't have time to reinvent the wheel every time you get into any app, whether you're doing QuickBooks or whatever, is if you can use a template and recreate that thing over and over again, using that template, but just tweak it as you go, it saves you a lot of time and a lot of money as a business owner. So I'm going to give you some of those tricks with that in mind. So I looked at some of the chat, and I saw a lot of people are kind of beginners or intermediates. So I don't see anybody that's invented Canva. So that's good. So we're going to start with that basis in mind. So to create a design, you go to this top left-hand corner, and it's very flexible. So there's a lot of things that you can do with it from this point forward. It is kind of intuitive, so it will ask you like, are you wanting to make a social media post or a flyer or so forth? So you can click there, and then I hope you guys can see the pop-up. It will make some suggestions for you based on probably what you do over and over, or whatever you entered as your business type. It might change the order of those design templates or whatever. So today I'm going to start with a social media post. And just to let you know, all of these different designs have different dimensions. And if you hover over the design, so like an Instagram post is square, but it'll tell me below that what the dimensions are. So in this one, it's in pixels. That's what PX stands for. You can also do things in inches if that makes a little more sense to you, and I'll show you how to do that here in a minute. But I'm just gonna start with the square social media post because that's a basic one that a lot of you can use, and this works on Facebook as well as Instagram. But there are some considerations whenever you're doing other things. So maybe if you want to do a Facebook event, that event cover is very different than this square graphic. So you need to know how to see the dimensions and make sure it will fit on the purpose that you're designing it for. So if I wanted to, let me create a new design and be specific about the dimensions, I could go to this custom size, and here would be where I could enter the pixels or inches, millimeters, or centimeters. So you could change that design based on that. So maybe you want to do a flyer and it didn't pop up in the options, or you didn't see it right away. So you can put that in inches, and it would be 8.5 by 11, right? And then you'll see when this new design pops up, it's in those dimensions. So, okay, I'm going to go back to the Instagram post, and we're going to design today with the Black Friday holiday sales season coming up in mind. So I'm going to show you some ways to use templates for that. Whenever you create a design, you're going to want to think about who you're designing it for, who's your audience, what's their age range, their demographics, things like that. Is it for stay-at-home moms or retirees or students in high school, you know, those kind of things, because you're going to choose different colors and fonts and pictures maybe based on your audience. So it's very important to know ahead of time who you're designing this for. So I'm going to pretend that I am a retail store and I'm going to participate in Black Friday sales. So with that in mind, there's some presets that you can use. So I could come over here to where it says design in the menu, and you kind of see that it gives me some ideas, and I could scroll through those and pick something if it worked for me. Or I can also pick a style with different color palettes, font sets, and things like that. But let's keep it simple. I'm going to go back to the templates and I'm going to tell it I want a Black Friday sale. And then it will give me suggestions based on that. Excuse me. So since I am a retail store, I like this one. But I do not want to use pink in any of my designs. My brand colors are purple and blue. So I would like to change this so that it doesn't look like everybody else's, but it also matches my branding. So there's a few ways that we can do that. We could change the background color potentially. Some graphics are pictures and they don't let you change the colors of those. And then some are like vector images where you can change the colors. So it just depends on the type of graphic. But in order to change the color on anything, whether it's text or a graphic, you select that item and then if you can change the color, it will display the color. So this is telling me that I can change the background color. And I said my brand colors are purple and blue. So maybe I want to put purple in that and then blue here. And I'm not saying those are great color combinations by all means, but it gives me something to talk about, right? So we can see like that blue does not look great on that purple. So I may want to choose a different color. So it's really good to have in your brand imaging, your primary colors and then some accent colors. So maybe I want to do a gold. And I'm picking from some of these brand kits that we have. The free version does not include branding. And so if you're using that version or you haven't set up your brand kit, here's how you can also change the color. So it gives me my primary document colors so that I can go back and use those over and over again real easily. But if I want to change the color, there's several different ways you can do that. So I can pick it from this chart. So it already is basing it off of that gold that I had picked earlier. Or if I change the hex code, this is what this is called. And there are different ways for you to look up hex codes for numbers. And I will show you how to do that as well. But let's see. Let's see if there's a color named BR549. Oh, didn't do R. Okay, 5497. Okay, so it gave us this magenta color. I just made that up, but there are ways that you can look up the colors. And then maybe I need that to be lighter. Oh, I said I didn't want pink earlier, so I could also do this color slide. I could use this down here and go, no, let's go a little oranger, maybe something like that. There's also this color picking tool where I could pick a color from the design. So it's an eyedropper. When I click on it, it gives me this little tool, and I could come over here and maybe I want to pick this kind of putty color, or no, that doesn't work. So I pick it again and then come over here to this lighter color. So there's a number of ways for you to change those colors. You could also import a picture. Let's say, do something. Simple. Say maybe I'm wanting to do Christmas colors or something like that. So I could actually go back to my text that I'm wanting to change the color of, go to my text color tool, go to my add a new color and my color picker tool. And then I can come over here in this picture and pick one of the colors from that picture and put that in my graphic. So that's the way that you can change colors to match your branding. And I know that's a lot to throw at you, but I just want you to be aware that there are a lot of ways that you can change the color to match what goes with your store. So, okay, I'm going to change this back to black. Just kind of keep it simple. Let's say I wanted to change this picture. So this is actually attached to a picture frame. So maybe I want to keep the picture frame in there because it's perfectly lined up with these letters. So I don't want to take that out and change that. I just want to change the picture. So, okay, in this case, it's in the background, so I can't detach it. I'm gonna throw it away. Let's try it. Okay. Sorry guys, I thought that was a picture. I'm gonna show you how to add a picture frame. We'll do that and then I'll show you how to detach the image. So go back to elements. If I delete my search, it'll show me all these different options of things that I can add in. And so these are picture frames. So I'm just going to use the square one because that was what was working well for that other design. So I lost, I think black was, oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. So, I will explain what I did just there here in just a second, but in the meantime, let's just focus on this picture. Okay, so I want to change this picture because I don't want my design to look like everybody else's. Maybe I want a picture from my store. So how I could add that is I go over here to my toolbox and I upload the picture from my store. Let's say I do workout equipment. We'll just pick this guy here. If you notice, whenever it imports the picture, it's by itself as an item. But if I want it to go in this picture frame, I kind of drag it over and the picture frame grabs it and imports it in there. Okay, what if I decide I don't like that picture? It doesn't work. So I right click on it and go down to detach image and it pulls it back out again. So I could move it around, change it, put it in a different picture box in case I had multiple ones on there or whatever. But for now, I'm going to leave it there. So let's see. But actually, I'm not because it doesn't show up very well. So I'm doing this on the fly. These aren't necessarily the best images for this. I could also search images in my elements, go back to elements, and I want to do see what I get. So let's just pick the shopping window. There we go. Okay. Okay, that's how you can import images and change them in the picture frames. If I wanted to do multiple frames, I could do that. I might could layer in another Go back over here, my tools, the frames. Maybe I want to feature a certain product. And so I want this one right here. So I could layer it in here. And this is how I'm going to show you how to do the positioning and layering. So here's our picture frame. I want it to go behind the word black. So I can right click and go to layers and move it around that way. Or, click out of that. If you see up here, this toolbar is for whatever I've highlighted. So it changes based on like if it's text or if it's a picture. So I would like to change the position of it. So I can click on that. And then this gives me a little more flexibility to pick how I want to change it. So I can move it backward, to the back, to the front. I can also align it with the top or the center and the middle or the right. I also could type in exactly where I want it to be on the X and Y axis and rotate it. And I'll show you when I put a picture in there, I'll show you how to rotate it. But it gives you more control of what to do with it. You can also go to layers and move things around this way by grabbing these handles over here. So let's say I wanted it back behind the word black. I could just drag it and make sure that it's there. So the nice thing about Canva is there's several different ways to do things based on what you're comfortable with, but it also can make it a little more complicated to learn how to use. But I encourage you to just play with those tools, see what they do, and then you'll get more proficient with them as you use it over time. Do we have any questions so far? Oh, someone asked if we are using Canva Pro, and we are. So that is one of the paid subscription levels. So we have access to a lot more graphics and things like that in your elements section. If you're using the free version, go back to the basic one. Let's say, I'm just going to put something random. I want a kangaroo. It gives me options for graphics, for photos, videos, things like that. You can see the little crowns next to these. So those are available in the pro level. If they're free, for example, like this little kangaroo with her Joey, she's free. She doesn't have, nothing pops up next to her picture. So, but as you can see, there's a lot more high quality images available in the pro version. Of course, they want to sell you the subscription, right? So, but there are a lot of tools that you can use. You could also, if you already subscribe to a service that provides graphics or stock photos, you can upload those images into Canva, just like you would save a file and then upload it from your files. You can also purchase graphics from sites like Etsy, or you could have a contract with someone on Fiverr or another app like that to design something for you, and then they would sell you that file. When you download that file to your computer, you're able to upload it into Canva and use it within the whatever the restrictions are for the graphic artist that did those. So, and if I have time, I'll try to show you a couple of examples of graphics that you can buy off of places like Etsy. I think it's Creative Marketplace is another one. You can buy fonts, you can buy graphics. So let's say you're a Harley mechanic, but you want this watercolor kind of feel to all of your images. You could, type that in, Harley graphics, maybe motorcycle graphics, maybe not Harley graphics, but motorcycle graphics, because the creator would have to have a license with Harley Davidson in order to be able to create those graphics, and they'd be considerably more expensive. So maybe that's not a good example, but anyway, motorcycle graphics. And you could put that in your search and then see the different styles. You could put motorcycle and watercolor in there, and then you'll get more close to your design style that you're wanting, if that makes sense. If you're like a childcare center and you can't use pictures of your own kids on your website because of privacy issues, there's plenty of stock photos, little graphics and things like that that you could buy off of those websites to use, so that you're not having to use pictures and blur out their faces or something like that. Make it more relatable. Okay, so with this image here, I want to show an example of a product. So we're not selling kangaroos. So let's go. It looks like those are purses. So I'm gonna pretend that one of these images that I get is one of my purses. And I want to show you the difference of what happens if I try to put a graphic in that picture deal. It won't work. Make sure. You see that? So the graphic won't go into the picture. But if I want to use a photo of a handbag, I can put it in there. So then again, I want to move that back behind the lettering. And so that would be an example of how I could layer those graphics and just give it a little more 3D effect. So I see that Gina dropped a hint in the chat about looking up hex codes. I briefly mentioned those, so you can use that. And let me see. I'm gonna try to show y'all something else on color. Let's see. I want to say, oh, another way that you could do it is to search, like, let's say, if you know the Pantone number or something like that, you could say in your search, what is the hex code for Pantone, whatever the Pantone description is. And usually you can find it in your search as well. So hex codes are just nice because it's uniform. It's always the same shade and hue. And you can use it over and over that way. So, okay. So it may be ugly, but this is the graphic that I've designed, and I want to make a flyer for this as well. So in the Pro version, you can change the size of the document very easily. In the free version, the way you would do it is create your new size, and then you could copy and paste from this document over to the new size and then stretch it and manipulate it that way. But in the Pro version, this is how you would change and make another use for this graphic. So go up here to your menu next to where it says File and go to Resize, and it will give you suggestions. And again, you can pick custom size. You can make this pane on a video. You could put it in a slide presentation that could be playing in the background on if you have like a digital picture frame or something like that. Or like I mentioned, we're going to make a flyer. So this could be something that you could hang on your door. All right, so I choose my size, and then I can resize this design where I lose this one, or I can copy and resize and it'll create a new document for me. So go to that and open it. Can y'all see my new window with the flyer? Anybody? Yes, okay. All right. So I don't want the graphic to take up the whole flyer, so I'm going to do a few little things here. I can individually move things, or let me go back to the original. I can resize everything at once, and there's a number of ways to do that. So I could drag my mouse across and highlight all the different things that I want to resize. Let's say I wanted to resize everything except for the purse graphic. If I hold down my shift key, I'm sorry, you can't see that, but if I hold down my shift key and click on what I don't want to change, once I move my mouse away, the purple box around the starburst photo frame disappears. So that means it's no longer highlighted. And then I'm just controlling my other group and I can move it around. So, okay, let's say I wanted to do everything. I could hold down my shift key again and select it, or I could drag across and pick them all again. Anyway, I want to shrink them all. And then go in the corner here. I might actually make my graphic bigger, but I want to make it narrower so it fits in my space. So I could use this slide right here, but you see that it kind of distorts the image. And go back to the normal. Or there are picture tools that I can use to change it. So once I highlight the image and it's surrounded in that purple box, you can go up to edit if it's here in your menu. They have moved it around recently, so this is kind of a new tool location for me too. In some of your apps, it might be in your menu section over here. It kind of just depends on what you have. But go to edit. Again, these are tools that are available in the free version. These Magic Studio tools are not. I'm sorry, these are tools that are available in the pro version. I don't believe any of the Magic Studio tools are available in the free version. But I want to crop the image. And so I go to adjust. No, sorry, not adjust. Oh, here we go. Sorry, it's always when you're trying to do a presentation and you're nervous that it. Oh, never mind. The crop tool is right here. Okay, and move some stuff around on me. So click on that, and then you can kind of see the image was already cropped to go into our square photo frame, and it's not going to let me shrink the image inside this frame because it's already at the edges or the limits of the image. But maybe I want to focus on just this wall of purses. So I can drag the image around where it's inside that window. I can also move these handles and then go back and crop and say, no, I really still want it to just be right there. There's some ways that you can change the size or the shape of the image if you need it. Let's go ahead and move these around. If you notice the pink marks showing up as I drag this around, they're showing me, the solid line is showing me the center of the page. So that's center vertically. And then if I move it this way, you can see the one show up for the center horizontally. I don't know why it won't go to the middle of the word, or the text box, but it'll still show me where it's at. Another way, again, if I wanted to center that, let me drag it off so I can show you, is go to that, highlight the item I want to move, go to position, and then go to middle and center, and there it is, where I need it to be. Okay, I'm going to expand this text. And I feel like it needs to at least be 75% on top of that so that you can see what it's trying to convey. Some other considerations that you might have for your designs is people who are sight impaired. They need to have strong contrast, so like blacks and whites. Earlier when I did that blue on purple, we could kind of see it, but it really wasn't viewer friendly to anybody, but especially not to people who are sight impaired. You also want to consider maybe color blindness. So the predominant color blindness is for reds and greens. So you don't want to layer reds and greens on top of each other because people can't distinguish those. There are other kinds of color blindness, but red and green are the primary ones. So, okay. So maybe I want to add some text to my document, and I can use these presets. So it's giving me kind of an example based on our brand kit of, you know, a title, a heading, and then some subheading. Or I can go down here and see some of their suggestions and presets. And it looks like they probably used something like that join now for this part. I'm going to use this one so I can show you a couple of things on the text tools. So if I was doing a real flyer, this would not be what I would use, but I want to use this as an example of some things, some ways that you can manipulate the text. So now we see our text box is highlighted, and you can see whenever I change text boxes, the font name up here changes. So these are Montserrat, and these are Gill Sans Display. So that will tell you what font it is. You can also use your font branding if that's what you want to do. If it's not included in the Canva toolbox, that's another thing that you can add as an upload, are different fonts. I can change the size of the font. Notice how it's just changing what was in that purple box. So sometimes this can be frustrating when you want to change it all in the group like that. But let me go back and show you how you can tell what it's going to manipulate. So when I click on it, wherever my mouse is, these are a group of text boxes that are grouped together. And wherever my mouse is where it highlights, and that's the group that's gonna, or the, excuse me, that's the text box that I'm targeting in the changes that I'm making. So let's say I wanted this line to be solid like the other one. So this hollowed out text is an effect. So I would go to effects and change it to whatever style that I want. If I wanted none, then it would just fill it back in. You can do neon. You could play with the intensity of the neon. You can add a background, which sometimes looks nice if it's like a single line, but if you have multiple lines, it looks a little weird. If you'll notice, I can round out the corners of the background, or I can square them up. I can spread the background out, or I can change the transparency of the background. I can also change the the color of the background too, if I wanted to do that. And then I could also change the shape of the text. If you want it to be in a curve, then I could also slide the curve and make it go upside down. or back in a rainbow art like that. I could change the degrees right here. So these tools, these numbers make it really easy if I have, so I want to do this to 2 of these text boxes. So I need to remember that the curve is 37. So I go to this one, select curve, and I can double click in that box and change the number to 37 and hit enter, and bam, it's the same curve as this one down here. So that's a nice tool to be able to use to keep things uniform if I wanted to. All right, so this is ugly. I'm gonna take all that away. And I only want 3 of these. So I'm gonna ungroup this. And notice that everything is still selected after I ungroup it. So if that's the case, it's gonna manipulate all of these. So I'm gonna say, well, good, because I want everything to be the same purple as that purse. I'm gonna grab that color, right click. So y'all see that? I hit the plus sign, grab the eyedropper or picker tool, went over here and picked the color, and it changed them all. Let's say I only want to change 2 of them. I could highlight 2. Now I'm going to change those to gold. Or let's say I want to get rid of the bottom 3. I could highlight all 3 of them and throw them in the trash. And then now that they're ungrouped, I can move them independently. Let's say I want to group them again. I select one, hold my shift key, and select the other one, and then hit group, and now they're moving around together. So those are some cool tools that you can use to help save some sanity. All right. And I don't know if you noticed up here, like when I drag the corners of these designs, it's changing the text size up here. So that's another place where I could double click and say, I want it to be 24 size font. But you notice it only changed the one that was highlighted in the purple box, even though they're both grouped together. So again, if I want to do both of them, notice how this, the font size disappeared. That's because there's multiple font sizes selected. So I go up here and I want to change them to 52, and I did both of them. And they don't fit on the page, so I'm going to drag this handle out, and now they're back in one line. So that'd be a tool you could use to make a pattern or something like that. If you wanted to do that and send all this to the back, I could hit this plus sign or duplicate tool and make multiples of that. I like that. It's running off the page. I'm gonna duplicate that. Did y'all see how I was able to select my group by also clicking on this, so I don't just have to click and drag. I could also click on the outside of the group box that was originally in a dotted line, and that way I could select both of those. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna go back to my social media post because I want to show you something else that's very important. So let's say we're kind of running out of time. Let's say that I want to create multiple posts for my Black Friday campaign. And I can do it by creating a new document each time, or this has the dimensions that I want, and maybe I'm going to play off of this graphic over and over and highlight different products. So I'm going to use this kind of the same format each time. So there's multiple ways to do that. These tools up here allow you to manipulate this whole creation. So this tool right here is a duplicate tool. So it's gonna duplicate the page. And now I have two of the exact same designs. And let's say I didn't want to do that. I wanted to add a new page. It will copy some of the formatting, usually the background color from that previous page. Let's say I don't want to do that. I want to make this my parent content. I don't want, let's say you have someone doing social media marketing for you, but you don't want them to mess with your design. You want this one design to be left alone. You can lock it and then nobody can mess with it. I can duplicate it though. And if you notice, this page is unlocked. I could lock it. So I'm going to change the picture. We go back over here to elements. And I'm going to do shoes. And I'm going to go to photos. So we want a group shoe picture for that one. And you notice it didn't let me do anything. Oh, the page is locked. So to unlock it, I think the original user has to unlock it. Is it unlocked? I think so. Okay, go back to elements, shoes. Well, it's making a liar out of me. Okay. Sorry about that. We'll both unlock them. Unlock the page. Unlock the page. Okay. So I guess you have to unlock that original one in order to unlock the second one. I hadn't seen that before. So I encounter new things with Canva. They make changes all the time. But I want to show you something. Now that I have two pages, this popped up here. So I can title this page, and it's going to make things easier whenever I save these so that I can upload them to my social media and stuff. So this one is going to be Black Friday. Oops. First. Other ways that you could use this is maybe menus. Let's say you're a food truck and you go to different towns or different locations. So you could use the same menu, but then you could, what am I trying to say? Like make it fit the community that you're going to. So maybe you go set up at football games or something like that. So you could change the branding based on the community that you're going to and their mascot or their school colors or something like that. And then you could save your menus under the different names of the different communities. And I'll show you here in just a second something that's very important that will enable you to find those really easily whenever you're going to upload them to your social media. Okay, so this one is going to be my shoe page. So Black Friday shoes. Now let's see if it'll unlock and let me do this. Okay. There's a quick way to change the pictures. I can just drag this up and put it in there. I don't have to detach the other image, but just so you know, the original image is gone now. So if I don't want to do that, if I want to keep this image for whatever reason, I've needed to before. If I detach it, it's still here on the page and I can still grab it and drop it somewhere else if I wanted to. So I could put it in my little sunburst window, but I don't want to do that because I'm selling shoes. So I'm gonna feature shoes. There's some examples of how you can do that. So you can click and drag these pictures over, or you can just click on them and they'll pop up on your page. Something to be wary of is like this background is all white, so it made my sunburst disappear. So there may be some considerations. You may have to manipulate pictures to change the background colors or whatever, so that it works for your design. But just there are ways to do all of that, and we'd be happy to help you with any of that if you have any questions. So, all right, now I've got my two designs. I could create a bunch more. We use this a lot whenever we use the same design basically for what we're doing. Okay, so up here is the parent name of our design. Well, I want to change this to my Black Friday campaign. Okay, now I'm not going to show you how to do this, but you could publish this as a brand template. But this is the most important thing today. So I'm going to squeeze this in real quick. Share. So this is going to show us where I'm saving the document and and what format I'm saving it in. So I think regardless of whether you're doing the free version or the pro version, you can save it in different document formats. I believe that is still true. So you could also collaborate with someone else and invite them to view or to edit this document, and that would be where you would do that here. But for the purpose of this webinar, I'm going to show you how to download what you've created. You click on download, and then you can, oh, and let me show you. You could publish straight to Instagram from here if you wanted to. You would just have to connect your accounts. I don't recommend doing that in every case because there's a lot of things that you could control otherwise. But okay, so we're going to download this. There are different graphic formats. I'm not going to dive off too deep into that, but if you're using really good pictures and you want those to convey over to social media, I recommend this PNG, and I don't remember what it stands for, but it's really good for using complex images and illustrations with a lot of detail. JPEGs are great. They're a smaller file size. You can use those on social media too. I just really like the PNGs. I feel like they save better. On the pro version, you can change the size, and that also helps improve your DPI or dots per inch if you're needing to publish it somewhere where it needs to be more detailed. And then right here, so I can select to save both pages, but if I do that, it's going to create a zip file. And I don't want that because I'd have to extract them and all that. So right here, I can choose what I want to save. So right now, I'm going to just save the Black Friday purse one. If you created all of these and you wanted to extract it, you could do it all at once, and that would be easier that way. But for this one, I just want to publish this one right now. So you can use this checkbox right here to unclick all of them and just click the purse file, and then done, and then download. You could also, if you saw the box, you could save your download settings where you don't have to redo them every time. And then it downloads it, and you can click on it and save it to whatever file you want to save it to. Otherwise, it just defaults to your downloads. So, and this is, I don't know if you can see this window, but it's just the software that we have on our computers that show the picture. But from there, then I could upload it to Facebook or Instagram or whatever and type up, what the deal is going to be for that Black Friday sale and import that image into my Facebook or Instagram profile. So, okay. One other thing to remember about this also, like you wanted to do invitations to a sale event that you're having, you could create like not index cards, postcards, and you could actually print them using Canvas print services. And it takes a while, for them to print them, and they could send them to you, or you could input it and import it into Vistaprint or some of those other printing websites and get them printed and mailed out to your clientele. there's just a lot of ways that you can use this toolbox on Canva. So I think that's about it for today. So I don't think that we can squeeze in anything else. Are there any burning questions that anyone has? I hope that you found this useful. I know it's a lot of information, but main thing is you can create something and use those colors, that format in multiple documents. You make something a lot prettier than what I did today. Another thing that you could do is, let's say you did not like these templates at all, you could add another page. You can go back to design and go to templates, and you could create a whole new design in the same document and name it Black Friday Red or something like that. And you could just, if you don't feel like changing the design, you like it is, you just need to change your website, you could do that right there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel with Canva, so it's really nice that you can use those templates and presets. So thank you guys. I'm not seeing any questions. Gina, are you able to launch a poll? Oh, she mentions if you would like to work with us at no cost to you, please let us know. Reach out to us at info@wtsbdc.com, or you can call us at 806-651-5151. We'd be happy to set up an appointment with one of our consultants for you. You could always email questions and we'd be glad to help you. Oh, we'll have to email you the poll later, but if you don't mind, just take a couple of minutes and tell us how we did. We appreciate it. With that, thank you guys. Have a great day, and we hope you have a very successful Christmas and holiday season.